Yo, what is going on, people? Welcome to Throw Down Your Questions, episode 414. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez,
Sup, people? How's it going?
Carlos Romero,
Yo, yo, yo.
Adam Vale,
How you doing? How you doing?
and Brett Murdoch.
What up, people?
All right, people, back with another one. First of all, I want to thank Mr. Manny and the crew for holding it down on Thursday for the Game Awards. I thought I was going to be on, but I had to cover it for works, and that's where the money comes from. So I had to do that, but I still suffered through it as everybody else did. And I showed up at the ass end. While Manny's doing the outros.
Yeah.
Also, want to give a huge shout out to David Giltonen and Richard Bailey Jr. for joining us. Very cool.
Enrico Son one.
Enrico Son one, kind of last minute too. Joining us, so very appreciated.
I was to say that, like, just hanging out with the guys, everybody, just makes that show so much more bearable. Literally just ragging on.
Because if you're just with the regular Throwdown guys, you'd be pissed off. You don't want to deal with these characters all the time.
What is it that you guys expect from these things? Like, you always say, it's like, oh, it's unfair. All the one, I expect just ads. That's all I expect. Is more
that's the problem. I mean, we're gonna get into it because we actually have a specific question.
I don't know what you guys would want, though. I don't.
There's actually a question about that. We'll answer.
Right. So we can literally parlay right into that one.
Yeah. Anyway, as we said before, Chris won't be joining us for a while because he had back surgery and needs to recover, obviously.
Guys, probably until you're probably not going to see him until maybe early to mid January.
We don't want to say for sure, but yeah.
We don't say for sure, but yeah, he went to some pretty crazy surgery, so get well soon to Mr. Chris. You know what we should do though is we should get his I'm sure he can he could type a little text on there. Maybe we can when the
AMA
game
special.
Of the year.
Oh,
the AMA and the
Carlos,
AMA.
It's coming.
So when we get those those game of the year and the AMA, maybe we could throw a couple of questions at him and he can just we could just read them off on air.
Sounds good to me, man. All right, we're about to start, but first of all, I want to give a shout out to C. Iverson in the chat. That's actually my oldest nephew, and I want to congratulate him because he just got a PS5, baby.
Oh, it's on now.
So yeah,
I've heard of those things.
Yeah, they're out in the wild now, man. They're out in the wild.
People
all
snagging
of them are out there.
People bought their $50 controllers over Black Friday. It's time, son.
And SSD, 2 terabyte.
And SSDs. Yeah, look at that.
For a console that's not gonna have any games until June. Tony went about Forspoken. Well, we'll talk about that when we talk about that. All right, man. Let's get into it. Some questions. So, for obvious reasons, first couple of questions here are about the Game Awards. So, first up, we got Ace Ali. Question is, did the TGAs get it right? Are there awards that should have gone elsewhere? Were there games that deserve flowers that didn't get them? Basically, what are your takeaways from the show? Listen, man, I'll just start first because I'm just probably the most cynical about this. It doesn't matter what games won, which games lost. It doesn't matter because caring about that would kind of legitimize the show to me, and I don't give a shit about it like that. I have to cover it, obviously, for work. We have to cover it because this is the biggest gaming night or whatever, but my feelings about this award show have been very clear since the beginning of Throwdown. Remember, they're about to celebrate 10 years next year, right? We've been around for a lot longer than that. Even before this was called the TGAs, had another name before that.
The VGAs.
Yeah, we've been covering this stuff, and my feelings have not changed. I think the whole thing is a crock of shit, basically. I think it's stupid. So I'm not really. I can't really answer questions because I'm like, it doesn't matter what won or lost. Who cares, But if you guys feel differently, chime in.
I mean, to be honest, I mean, the there's no upsets. There was just like, okay, we even did it on the show. It's like this one or this one. So it's like
it's
for the
easy
most
to predict, yeah.
It's fairly easy to predict. It's it's obvious that what they're going to be going for. It's obviously who's going to be the nominations. It's all going to be top of the food chain stuff. It's not going to be like, but it's very much an award show that's controlled by public opinion.
Public opinion and gaming industry opinion.
And gaming industry opinion, yeah.
And it's also
go ahead.
It's also an award show that only 4 categories anyone really cares about, and that's not to anyone's fault. That's to the VGA's fault, because literally every other category is just sprayed off like in with the quickness. It's like, oh, here's the award for this, or here's the award for this, and then the winner is, and the winner is. It's like there's only like 3 or 4 categories where people actually went up.
The actual awards portion is an afterthought. Like it really is. Like you just pointed right there. There were 3 times in a row where they had like 12 total categories. Just
but that's it. That's the key. They know their audience. Their audience don't give a shit. People don't care.
The thing about it is it's a show that's trying to live in 2 worlds.
Yeah,
it's a show that's supposedly celebrating the art of these things, right? They're giving these awards away, but at the same time being a marketing opportunity. It's literally like, so it's like you're either one or the other. You can't really be both. And I think it's like, if we're going to treat this like treat this like an artistic celebration, that doesn't involve a lot of ads that are literally intertwined between the shows. Literally having people people coming out on stage accepting awards and then announcing a fucking game.
Of course.
Yeah, and that's what people want.
No,
people
that is not.
They want to see games.
Obviously, if this is supposed to be a show that, everything, nobody knows what's going to happen. Everything's going to, we're celebrating the art. Why is there a game announcement? Because at that same point in time, they know who the winner is. It's not going to be a surprise. And if they shouldn't be announcing other games on the stage as soon as they take an award. I'm sorry, that's stupid.
Business. We all do it. Everybody does it.
Adam is right. I mean, the most important thing, and the thing that people care about most, is the showcase aspect of this show, and that's what this in its heart is, and that's the reason why we don't really care about the validity of what the awards are.
Yeah, exactly. Because why
house it as an award show then?
Because if they just said, "Hey, it's one long trailer of trailers," no one would.
That's the thing.
Why not call it the winter showcase or something?
Yeah, because
that's already been done.
The winner.
That's already went out with that. You got does their winter showcase thing.
Who?
Kind of Funny Games do their winter showcase.
Who cares about them?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a name that's done. I'm sure they have a copyright. I'm sure they have.
Jeff Keighley took on E3.
No,
they care about Kind of Funny.
Yeah, he don't give a fuck about them.
Winter showcase, you probably can't.
You got the PC showcase. They do theirs. They just
I don't think PC. I don't think
Jeff Keighley's gonna get more eyeballs, dude. Trust me.
But that's what I'm saying. This makes sense because of that. Like you said, more eyeballs. Throw a little story around it.
The thing about it is, but I'm going to say this: like, you can't say that this is an artistic achievement award show and then also call it a marketing opportunity. It is a marketing opportunity through and through.
Yeah. Yep. I think if anything, he's just trying to throw some credibility on the genre, which really doesn't have one, because
it really doesn't have. It doesn't have any. It has no credibility just by the nature of the way the show is set up.
Well, that was his angle towards the whole thing. It was like he wanted to do the Oscars of video games because no one else was doing it. Like, I mean, there was like the DICE Awards and stuff like that. But he wanted the mainstream like video game awards, and how was he going to do it to get people to pay attention? It was do reveals.
Do reveals. Here's the thing. Both at the same time, it is a smart move, but I can't really consider it an artistic celebration, because an artistic celebration usually is devoid of any sort of not any sort of marketing, but so intertwined with marketing.
So if you find out there's an award for best new art design or whatever, and you're nominated, and they said, "Hey, we would like you to come. We're putting you up on the board." You wouldn't go.
I'm not going to say I wouldn't.
What does that have to do with the
It's
TGAs?
because
I don't understand.
I don't understand. They
understand
get the people that are there winning the awards are not just the behind the scenes people. These are people that are working on these projects. So whether they're the focus or not, they are still being addressed in person.
By the way, if I were nominated for the best artistic achievement, I would that wouldn't even need to be there to accept the award because they would have rapid fired that one.
But that's not the case for all of them. As
the thing is, the people sitting in those seats are the people that are
and the people who are accepting awards have no problems with the award show. So, like saying you're not going to go there, it doesn't matter. Those people are happy to go there.
That's the same for most, even the celebrity award shows. They even say it. A bunch of us said they know when they're going to win or if they're just nominated. So it's up to them if they want to go just to show their face or if they definitely know they're going to win an award.
The problem is they go there, accept the award, and you get an ad right afterwards.
Okay,
so it's
that's fine.
So you can't sell this as an artistic whatever celebration when it's really a fucking 3-hour ad. Just call it what it is.
It's either one or the other. It's not.
And he says it right at the beginning, though. He said we had no spoilers. She said, thankfully, we had no spoilers, no leaks, so a bunch of surprises.
Okay, what does that have to do with anything?
That's to do with because what is the spoilers? What is that? The ads. The ads are the spoilers.
So call it an ad show. Call it a winter showcase. Don't call it an award show.
Yeah,
they are winning awards though. It's just like an MTV Music Awards. They give awards,
the award show is the afterthought. No one even cares about that shit. Even the show doesn't care about it.
Do you care about SBs? Do you care about SBs?
No, I don't care about any. I don't care. Yeah.
Exactly, but they still do it because people like to watch these shits. They like to see a team or someone get
award. They like to watch an ad, apparently. They actually don't like to watch these shits.
That's not true. The ratings are there. The ratings are there. They do watch these shits.
They're lousy ratings to the point where even the Academy Awards wanted to add a bullshit best summer blockbuster award to just get people to watch.
So they can add commercials. So Keely's ahead of the curve on that.
Yeah.
No, but I don't, Adam. I have no clue where you're taking this to.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't get it either.
But
so like, if Manny, hold on, then let me slow it down. Let me slow it down.
If I wasn't Manny,
I'll slow it down. Let me slow it down.
I'll
slow it down. No, what I am saying is that the majority of people that tune in do not give a shit who wins an award. They go in just to watch these reveals, these trailers, and to goof on it. Just like
and that's exactly what we said.
We agree. We agree on that.
But you're saying you expect something more, and I don't understand what else.
No, Adam, you're not understanding where we're coming from. We're saying, okay, fine, let's go with that. People are tuning in to watch the trailers, which is true, right? We're just saying if that's the real reason this show exists, don't call it an award show. Call it a winter showcase and be at least legitimate in that way. Because you calling it an award show is a farce. It's not true.
It's like saying the show is about the awards. The show obviously it's not about the awards. And if you look at the amount of ad time compared to actual visual time, you'll see there's a big difference between them.
But if people, like they said with the People's
Choice, this is like fucking Comic Con. It's barely about comic books.
It's like Comic Con. Comic Con is not about comics anymore.
So that's what I'm saying. But still, people picked and said, all right, I like this game, whatever, on a website, whoever fucking filled that out, right? And you give the award
to them,
group, whatever.
Yeah.
So the person that's receiving is still happy because this was done by the people. The people picked this game. It's like, oh, wow, you know what? That's an achievement. So whether it means shit to us or not, or even to a person, it's all bullshit. And it's just something they can throw in the garbage. They can still put it up and take some pride that the players had picked this over some other games and said, hey, you know what? We liked your game.
Well, there was a lot of controversy with the people.
Hold on real quick, because he says, are they saying that they shouldn't give out awards? I'm saying if you're going to have an award show, have it be an award show. Don't have it be a 3-hour ad. That's what I'm saying. If you're going to have an award show, do an award show. You know, if you look at any of the other award shows, there's a separation of church and state. The ads are the ads, and the award ceremony is the award ceremony. And you cut to ads to pay for business, obviously.
But the argument
in this situation, the ads and the show are intertwined.
But the same goes for those.
Can you really call it an award show when only a small portion of the time is really devoted to giving away awards? Can you really call it an artistic celebration literally the whole thing
you can do whatever they want?
No, you can't.
It's all fake.
Legitimately call it that.
You can't legitimately call it.
You just said like the Oscars and all that. The awards themselves of just announcing, let's say, Bob, who is in Happy Land, and generally they show trailers of the movies. They're showing you what the movie was that they're winning an award.
They're showing what the movie was. They're not showing you, hey, look what's coming next year.
No, again, I keep saying,
that'll be in the
Jessica Lange won award for Best Actress. Here's the trailer for Gladiator 2. Come on now.
It's not going to do that. Like the Academy Awards are not going to advertise. No,
you know what? They'll say it. They'll say it, and we've heard it before.
No, they won't. They will not say it on stage. Hey, look at my wonderful. When Will Smith punched out Chris Rock, he didn't go say some. Go see
when the announcer.
Go see Independence Day
3. No, he didn't do that, buddy.
When the announcer again,
I don't know why. I don't know why you don't. Why
I don't know what you were putting this on a pedestal. As if it's
we're not. That's the whole reason. That's the whole point. Hold on. The reason why this discussion even happened is because the question was, what games got snubbed or what did we think was deserved more? And we're like, we don't care because they don't put a legitimacy on the awards. Why should we?
Yeah,
that's the whole point.
Legitimacy. That's the point. What is there? Isn't. You want something like that? Go somewhere else, like a GDC. Or something. What is it here that
an actual award show?
We've seen this over 10 years, even before Keeley touched it when it was still on Spike TV. This is it. This is what we've
and we've been saying how much is bullshit since this entire time.
But it's so fun to watch, or else we wouldn't be watching it.
Is it
we
fun
watch
to watch?
it. It's not fun to watch at all.
It's not fun to watch at all.
The only reason it's fun is because we get to rag on it for 3 hours.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to say. Before. That's it. I was going to say the best part of the Game Awards is us sitting there and fucking MS3TK gaying that show. That's the part. Like sitting with you guys.
And if we didn't have it, we wouldn't be doing it.
Well,
if they didn't have meat, we wouldn't have meat either. What's your point?
There you go. Exactly. The point is that we need the meat. So you need something like this to happen.
No, we don't. They obviously proved that you don't need. You could literally have your meat spread out like through 12 months a year. With all their different little showcases. So I understand what the deal is here. But I think the thing about it is that the pedestal that everybody else seems to be putting on doesn't make any sense when you look at the two combative sides of it.
Yeah.
Art versus media or whatever we want to call it.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. And there's
because we still got more TGA questions. So yeah. Keep going.
And real quick, there are some good aspects of the show. There were some good surprises and stuff. So I don't want to poop on the whole thing, but
we
I'm
definitely
just talking about the actual awards portion of it.
Yeah.
That's my thing. It's like because the question was what shows got snubbed and all what games got snubbed and all that. But again, we would only be able to answer that question if we felt the show was legitimate, which even the show doesn't believe it's legitimate.
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't really feel.
So, do you guys think that Elden Ring was the best game of the year? I never played it. I'm asking you your opinion. Your opinion. I don't care what they say.
To me, God of War was the best game of the year.
Okay,
but that's personal. I don't care what won. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what wins at the show. It really doesn't matter.
It's not that. I was just asking what you think because see if it aligns.
Oh, it's
you've talked about this.
Elden Ring's fantastic.
It was like, a game had to be good. Look how many it sold. I'm like, all right, well,
the game. Elden Ring's fucking amazing. One of the best games that come out in the last 10 years. But again, I don't care what won or lost in this. It doesn't matter.
Well, that's because and I realize you talk about it being illegitimate, but you got to give where credit's due. This is probably the most legitimate one I've seen in years. The games that actually deserve to win deserve. You didn't see Elden Ring winning best narrative like we all thought was going to fucking happen.
Well, God of War. I would disagree. The Game Developers Awards or whatever. What are those called?
GDC.
GDCs. I would say those are the most legitimate ones.
That's legitimate. Yeah. Because it's like actual developers giving each other awards. That's legitimate. Not fucking
Yeah, like,
Al Pacino showing up, and
confused
Michael
Al Pacino.
Madsen. Yeah, it's like, come on, man. What
I mean,
are
like,
you doing here?
Well, Michael Madsen was in the game. Al
nature
Pacino
of a
has no business
award
being
show.
Michael Madsen was in the game.
Go ahead, Brett.
I mean, like, half the stuff you guys are talking about is just in the nature of an award show.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've always said award shows in general are fucking stupid.
Okay, well then you need to do what you do with gaming and say, since there's no such thing as a perfect 10, you grade it on that curve, man. Come on.
I am. It's bullshit.
Okay, in terms of
I don't know what you want. It's bullshit.
Okay, so let me ask you this. As far as gaming award shows go, how did you feel about this?
It's bullshit.
Okay.
GDC's better. There you go.
All right.
I don't know what you want me to say, man.
Yeah,
There's only two gaming award shows, at least that I know of, GDC and the Game Awards.
It's not a total bullshit because you would still watch it for the enjoyment of just whether it's hanging out with everybody to rag on it, as opposed to doing that for an ESPYs or an Oscars.
If it wasn't for this podcast, I wouldn't watch this bullshit.
Yeah.
I would not watch this fucking show if it wasn't for this podcast or work. It's a bunch of horse shit. It always has been. I've never liked these shows. You can listen to 10 years worth of Throwdown. I've been very consistent on this point. It's bullshit.
Yeah, like even back in the day, it was just like, all right, here we go. The only difference is that we were ragging on it in our own homes before there was before there was any Throwdown podcast. But again, it is what it is.
Yeah, see, here you go. Drunken Guardian. He goes, I think awards are important to show appreciation to the hard-working people in the industry, but if you have emphasis on trailers, it dilutes the meaning of the awards themselves. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
That's exactly it.
You know what? We wouldn't be having this problem if we still had fucking E3 as a thing, but no, everyone wanted to get rid of that. And
E3 doesn't have awards, though.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, y'all said E3. There was no point in having E3. And I kept telling you, it's about bringing people together. It's about consolidating people in one place so they can show a bunch of trailers. And y'all like, no, we don't need E3. Then we got rid of E3, and this shit invaded the Game Awards. So whoa.
It never.
The Game Awards has done the same shit when E3 was still around. So that doesn't hold water, dude. Game Award. We've been complaining about the same thing forever about the Game Awards. That is just a glorified ad when E3 was around.
Yeah, so doesn't mean E3 didn't start it.
No, but it has nothing to do with E3. I don't know why you're injecting E3 into. You are saying that since E3's not around, the Game Awards has to show all these trailers. The Game Awards has been doing that when E3 was around.
No, I'm kind of backing up what Adam's saying. Is that it's there? There's a need and a demand for a place for there to be all of these trailers in one place, and this is it. This is what it's come down to.
And again, that's fine. Again, that's fine. Call it a winter showcase. Don't call it an award show.
That's all I'm saying. But the people that are behind it still enjoy it. When you see these Kojima and friends showing up and getting their awards, they're having fun with it.
Listen, I'm not taking that away from them.
Hey, dude, more people watch this thing for the trailers than the Game Awards. Let's be fucking honest.
And that's fine. Call it something else. That's all I'm saying.
Okay,
exactly what your showcase.
Yeah, so what you're saying is stop giving awards. Just make it a award.
No. I am absolutely saying that. I'm saying stop giving awards at this fucking thing and have an actual award show. That's what I'm saying.
So basically just E3 and winter.
Yeah, winter showcase. Exactly.
Okay, so if you were against E3, why would you be for a winter showcase?
What the hell does that have to do with anything?
Consistency?
Explain.
Basically, you said that there was not a need for E3 before, and now you're basically pitching an E3.
I'm not doing that. Listen, if it was up to me,
that's
you wouldn't even have.
Festival is. That's what a winter showcase is.
Listen, Brett, you're not understanding what I'm saying. I'm saying if you have to do this, then do it this way. If it was up to me, I wouldn't have this at all in any way, shape, or form. Understand?
Yeah, you have to. Do you not realize that you're the outlier in this?
Yes, I'm giving my opinion. I'm not talking about everybody. Brett, how many times have we been talking? When I talk about things, I'm talking about it from my perspective. Somebody asked me my opinion is, I'm giving my opinion.
Sometimes I wish we could talk about things industry-wide because, don't take this the wrong way, man, but your opinion doesn't matter as much when we're talking about the greater gaming sphere and the opinions of everybody here.
What are we going to do? We're just going to give just homogenous opinions on everything? Is that what we're going to do? You know, oh, everybody enjoyed the Game Awards. It's a great showcase. Is that the kind of answer you want me to give?
Yeah,
dude?
we're all.
Is that the answer the fans want? They want some fake ass bullshit.
But the question, the issue that I have is
that's exactly what you said.
No. The issue is that you're like just disregard the whole thing. It's all
I am saying that. What do you want me to do?
And we agreed that the fun part of it is the trailers, whether they're good or bad. At least it's new shit that we didn't already know, like when we get spoiled by the shit. So then let's take it as that. So is there good parts of it? Yeah. Is there bad parts? We don't give a shit about the score. So yeah, fuck it. It doesn't matter who wins or loses. But they're gonna say, you know what? So-and-so won an award, whatever. But we got this trailer for new Star Wars. You know what? I'll stick around. I want to see this new fucking.
Yeah, there's such a thing as saying it's not for me, but I can understand why other people like.
Isn't that already self-evident? Isn't that? Do I need to spell that out like we're fucking children?
No,
that's already
self-evident. You just said you want this to go away.
You're like, that's my opinion, man. Like, actually, nail yourself down and say you're speaking in objectives every once in a while.
Oh, fuck that! People can get it. They're not fucking children.
No, they can't. That's why everybody's constantly confused about it.
Oh well, that's too fucking bad.
That's fine. If you want to be intentionally difficult, then be intentionally difficult. But don't get frustrated when people are confused by you being intentionally difficult.
I'm not being difficult at all. I don't know what you're talking about. You know, people are just being, they just don't want to understand. Simple. No,
if we're talking about like the objectives, like the pros and cons of like doing.
We're not talking about that. They asked us the question, and I answered the question. I don't understand what you want me to do.
Here's the thing. That's
by the way, this is the first question.
This is the first question we're throwing down. Anyway, I mean, I don't see why this needs. Adam brought up the idea that there's some sort of pedestal. Obviously, everybody thinks that there is some sort of pedestal, but I don't think that pedestal is deserving of it.
Yeah,
I think it is. I think it is what I think it is. It is. I think it is marketing through and through. Mm-hmm. And if we want to, if people want to somehow magically, fool themselves into this some sort of artistic celebration of this, obviously they they need to really think about what an artistic celebration is.
It's like I put this in the category of like WrestleMania. There's so many people that don't watch wrestling throughout the year, or they don't care about it, but they know that there is a thing called WrestleMania and it happens once a year, and that it should be important. And then all these news outlets are covering it that never covered it. So this is it. This is
Game Awards is fake like wrestling. There we go.
I didn't know wrestling was fake. Now that's a misconception. WrestleMania. It's scripted, but it's still athleticism. So there's a difference.
All the outcomes are all set up. Like wrestling.
But all the but the artwork and the hard work that goes into it is real, and you know this.
Yeah,
the physicality.
Let's move on to the next question because it's tied to the. We already kind of halfway answered it already, but Logic Wins asks if Doritos Pope asks you your unfiltered opinion on the Game Awards, how you can improve it for next year. What are 2 pieces of advice you would give them? I already said it. Separate it. Yep. Have an actual award show. Have an actual award show. And
nobody's going to watch it though. Nobody gives a fuck about
it. At least it'll be legitimate.
Okay,
and again, the question is, what would I tell them? That's what
it'll be GDC. It'll be GDC, and no one watches that shit.
I would say separation of church and state as well.
Yep, separate them. Got to keep them separated.
What I would do, and I lean towards more the Tony and Manny side of it, just because I do. I hate when they do the virtual signaling about being a celebration of gaming and the artistry and of the industry as a whole, and it's bullshit. It's about who the hell can you sell ads to. Yep. It's about whose trailers you can get to, and what I would tell Jeff Keighley is make this the end of the year awards and just do game of the year, and everything else. Do the trailers, do the game reveals, the exclusive stuff, because that's the stuff that gets everyone's butts into the seats and everyone excited about actually excited about the gaming industry, and that's what I would tell them. Having pretending like you're higher than art thou on celebrating games, for me it just doesn't land, and we know what.
There's no one else doing it, so he could say whatever the hell he wants. He could say this is the best show on earth.
No one else doing what,
and that's it. Doing an award show of any type or showcase.
There is award shows.
Not of this type. No, there isn't. These people show up. They don't have to show up. If it's such a farce for that end, if it is all for the ads and all that stuff, like we say, whatever he wants to do, these developers don't have to show up. They don't have to send a representative. They could say, you know what, send a little video.
No,
they want to add some.
They barely show the developers on any of these things.
This ties to what Manny when you asked Manny about would he show up, and I was going to say something about that. If Manny was invited, I would think he would show up because it's a great fucking time to advertise your shit.
That's it. And why?
That's
why
all it is. It's not a real award show.
Really is. That's
what I'm saying.
Y'all act like you would just tune in to just watch an award show by itself. Like that's what but there's ads all up in my award show. Like but Adam, awards all up in your ad show.
No, Adam was asking. It's disingenuous though because then they're dicing this as an award show. The actual awards portion is like less than 30% of it.
And everybody is drinking the Kool-Aid. All the developers are drinking the Kool-Aid by selling
they're drinking the Kool-Aid either.
They are. If they
because you barely even see developers up there. You see fucking Al Pacino and all these fucking actors instead.
But that puts asses in the seats, man.
Al Pacino literally says, "I don't play video games." Then what the fuck are you doing at a Game Awards?
The first guy who came out started crying. He got this damn award, and I'm like, "Yo, is it that serious? You're gonna start crying about this?" But he said he put in a lot of work. He didn't get to see his family, and this whole thing, and he had to get it done. And he thanked the EA for giving him the time and the effort, whatever. But obviously, he took that shit serious. Unless he's a good damn actor, and he should hit up Hollywood and talk to Al Pacino in the back because he took it serious.
To some people, it's obviously means something, and that's fantastic. I'm just saying, I think it's bullshit.
I'm going to say this: a more legitimate Game Awards was the Canadian Game Awards. And it hasn't happened in a while, but the reason why I say this is because the game developers were actually the showcase. The game developers were giving away the awards. The game developers were actually the performers on the stage.
Yeah,
and you got to see every the people that actually made these games.
Okay, hold on a second.
Game Awards. What is what they're doing is everything is slathered over by a bunch of obviously famous people like Al Pacino and a couple other whatever Michael Madsen, who didn't even know he was there because he was so fucking drunk.
But he was in the game. Al Pacino was not in no fucking game. I don't know why.
He's probably going to be in a game now. So I want to say this: like I would say if this was a celebration of games, and we're going to go down this route of saying how we could improve it. I would say if we were going to need the Game Awards, the alternative I would say is to actually show the people that make these games, the people that make the games that are on the stage. They're on all this sort of stuff. They're all over it.
Hold on. So let me ask you.
At least they're getting the supposed spotlight that this show claims that they're giving them.
Yeah.
So are you saying that you would trust a group of developers to basically award themselves? We're talking about the same group of people who wrote tweet after tweet.
Do actors give them?
Let Ray go.
We're talking about the same group of people that made constant bitches about why Elden Ring was a terrible game, right? Like, I don't know that I trust a group of insiders to not be self-serving and just be patting each other on the back. I don't want the developers giving each other awards. That's fucking bullshit, and that's disingenuous.
But Brett, that's already happening. It's not the developers, though. It's just the media instead, because they're the ones that vote.
Yeah, at least the media. You can't be giving awards if you're the one making the stuff. All right,
here's the thing.
That's a fair point.
But do actors give awards to other actors?
They're presenters. It's a committee that does it. The committee does it.
But who's the committee?
I'm talking
the Academy.
They're people that are.
Can you please stop fucking talking over me and let me get my fucking point out? God damn it!
It's a family show, man. It's a family show.
No, we're not a fucking family show. That's why I'm saying fuck. Stop fucking talking over me. God damn it! All right, let me finish what the fuck I was just saying. I'm not talking about them being the committee. Which, by the way, a bunch of game developers are on the committee, but of the Game Awards. But that aside, the people on the stages, right? Who are those guys coming out? You have Michael Madsen, you have all these famous people. Why can't it be Phil Spencer or any of those guys? Why can't it be the art director of, God of War or, some other game? These as the presenters. In other words, if we're supposedly giving the developers and treating it as art, how come we're not seeing enough of these people on the stage? Again, giving it away.
Reggie was there.
Let me also point out the other fact about Reggie's not even a factor anymore. But anyway,
he was still a player. Come on now.
Still a personality. But again, he is only the head. How come we're not seeing some other people? We're not seeing again. They gave away a best art director award. Why wasn't there any sort of other art directors within the industry there as well? To say like, hey, this is blah 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 who did the art direction for so and so game that came out who's what's it years ago.
The same reason they don't invite the artists to the do the CGI to the cast party, Manny. Like it's just
exactly.
But they don't want to see the cogs, and like I agree. In a perfect world, we would do that, but that's not what people are interested in.
But I feel like if we're supposedly raising up the the visual of everything, why aren't we seeing that sort of stuff? If we're saying this is a supposed celebration, then how come the people that make these things possible aren't front row center? They're out in the back. They're on a they're micro machined, giving away awards to these people.
And the same reason we gave Christopher Judge 8 minutes and everybody else like 90 seconds.
That's crazy. By the way, the music only started playing like after like the 8th minute for Christopher Judge, but then like when the other people were going on, like after a minute or even less, the music.
That's what I'm telling you. I think it's Al Pacino forgot his lines. He couldn't read the prompter, so
by the way, I love how Jeff Keighley was like, this show's going to be significantly shorter this year. Christopher Judge fucked all that up.
Well, he cracked jokes on him the whole night. The whole night he cracked jokes on him.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. By the way, go ahead.
I think that Al Pacino, like he said, he couldn't see the prompter. I think he was supposed to read a whole shit, and he couldn't do it. So then when Jug came out and he looked at me, he was like, "Can you keep talking?" And so I was like, "All right." And he went rambling. His kids, a dog, a cat, a bird. What the hell is he talking about?
I think Al Pacino actually did a really good job of covering up the fact that he couldn't see it so well, because what it would do, he would like talk slow so that he could actually read whatever was there, make it out. But
couple that won an award a while ago, the woman, you could tell she was struggling too. She was like looking, I don't know, something was up with that teleprompter. But anyway, what about the rest of you guys? How would you improve the awards for next year? Brett, what about you? How would you improve it for next year?
I mean, for the most part, I think the system is fairly fine. I think complaining about it is kind of like complaining about commercials at the Super Bowl. That's the reason a good portion of people tune in. If you just did an award show with none of these announcements, nobody would give a shit. And quite frankly, that would just draw the spotlight away from the creators even more. So I don't see that as a better option.
All right. So you say keep everything as is. Everything's fine.
I mean, people are going to tune in for the announcements. You may as well make them sit through applauding for the people that make it while you're doing it. Is the way I look at it.
And it makes them feel a little happy. They come out with the Kool-Aid smile. They're like, "Oh shit, people!"
Yeah, because think about it otherwise. They're gonna have an award that like 20,000 people turn into. Nobody but insiders give a shit. Like, come on, like, sure, we're announcing everything. All the gamers are here. All the news outlets are here. Let's give this an opportunity to like really kind of like congratulate some people at least for doing kind of a good job. Because otherwise, nobody would give a fuck.
Yeah.
And Adam, you wouldn't change anything either?
I don't, because the only thing I care about is the trailers. And the one thing I enjoyed this one the most. Once he said there was no leaks, and I was like, you know what, you're right. I didn't see any bullshit about this. I didn't see this trailer. Besides the Star Wars Survivor, but they leaked it. EA already announced that they were showing that shit off. Besides that, I was like, oh, good surprises. All right, more gameplay and this and that. So that's all I'm there for. I don't care who wins, who loses. I'm not putting it on a Facebook. Look, my favorite game, number one. I don't give a fuck. Mm-hmm. I just want to see what's coming for next year. And that's what we talked about. I was like, what are we looking forward to? Well, we want to see what's coming for next year. What trailers? Who's showing what? That's it. And we got a lot of answers. We found out a lot of games are scheduled for March and April. That's great. and that's it. I just remember it used to be really long, right? On Spike, I could have swore it was like 3 or 4 hours.
No, in Spike it wasn't that long.
It wasn't. What some of
it got long. It got long. It got longer when it became an internet show.
Yeah.
When it got digital, I just remember it being real long one time. I was like,
those were long too. Those were not good awards either. As a matter of fact,
were not.
By the way, if we're going to be objective here, Brett, the current award shows are way better than the bullshit we had on Spike TV. You know?
Yeah. I just don't think that there's such a good thing as an award show. Like for the most part,
I agree.
people don't fucking care.
Award shows in general bullshit. But I'm just, you know what? I'm not going to repeat myself. I already made my point.
But that's the thing, though. Like the creators deserve to be applauded for what they did. And if you just leave it like, if you don't do the award show, if you just do announcements, nobody's going to show up to the award show. So like that's why I don't think it's a perfect system.
No, hell no. I mean, people show up to his Summer Games Fest. It's always packed.
Yeah,
and it's just the
no
whole.
awards.
It's
just and do you think you don't think they go there for the announcements too?
Well, they go to
that's the point. The industry shows up for the announcements.
But you're kind of digging on the point I'm trying to make. The fact that people watch this quote unquote award show for the announcements, that's kind of a bad thing.
I mean, it's a fun thing. I think that the fundamental difference that we're having, Tony, is I'm kind of saying that they have to put the award show into the announcements, right? Like, people are there for the announcements. They got to shove the award show in there because otherwise nobody's going to care, right? And like, I understand you're saying nobody cares about.
I think you mean they need to inject the award show into the announcements. I think that's what you mean.
It reminds you of, I had a buddy of mine who hates going to concerts with opening acts. He was like, just you go there and you just let me know once they announce when the band's actually going to perform and I'll show up. I'm like, well, show up. We're going to see some new bands, the local bands. No. Oh, there's an opening act. You know this band? I don't give a shit. Just let me know. I was like, why? Go for the whole experience. Maybe you'll see some new traveling band with them or a local band that actually made it on stage. Oh, that's cool. Play some songs. You may discover something new. And, it comes along with the package.
You can celebrate the industry without giving out the awards. It's just announcing the games of all of the industry people. What Microsoft has coming up, what Sony has coming up, what all these studios have coming up. That's how you celebrate games. That is in a way that people actually enjoy. I think the only award for me that I would just make it one award per show and just game of the year, because the other ones no one really cares about, and 90% of the awards are just spewed out and like mad quick. So it's just
So let me ask you this. If they named it something else but didn't change it, if they just named it the Winter Games Fest and didn't change it, and they're like, yeah, it's all about celebrating games. We're also going to give out some awards while we're there. Like, would you feel differently about it even if they didn't change anything?
Probably, because at least the name fits.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm starting to wonder: is it just the expectation of them saying it's the Game Awards? Kind of makes you think it's supposed to all be about the awards.
What
they call it something else.
That's what he just said. That's what we're always been saying.
If you're gonna call it an award show, have it be an award show. Again, I just want it to be authentic. Just call it what it is. Hey, here's a big ad for 3 hours. Hey, at least you're being honest. Cool.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
How about the rest of you guys? Would you be happier if they just called it something different?
I don't care.
I would
call it something if they took away
took
away the Game Awards and had that whole
Yeah.
No, they still do awards.
Don't go on Twitter.
They just call it something different.
Yeah. Again, don't go on Twitter virtue signaling about how you're celebrating the developers when you're really just showing off a 3-hour ad. That's all I'm saying.
But made by developers that are there in the audience.
I would say, yeah, the backs of their heads. But anyway, I would say that would be a lot more fitting for the Game Awards if it was just called the Winter Showcase, or like in other words, the opposite of his Summer Showcase. We just call it the
Winter Show. What is it? Summer Game Fest, Winter Game Fest. There you go.
Winter Game Fest. There you go.
Yep. There you go. There you go. Call it that.
Because a lot of times these Game Awards, like even the awards are kind of they feel rigged in a way. Remember the time when the cast for The Walking Dead showed up And somehow The Walking Dead ended up Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Dude, every
this
award
year-
show is rigged. Like, have you ever been to an award show like in real life?
No, I'm not defending the Oscars or the Grammys or any of those.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking like straight up down to like tattoo competitions at local cons, right? Like, it is always there's no such thing as a fair contest. There just
like
isn't.
you're speaking from personal experience here.
Dude, yeah,
I'm being facetious. Brett told us a story. This show is crazy, you know?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it is like, they have, it is well documented that, Harvey Weinstein used to advocate for his films, and part of his marketing strategy, for films that didn't do well, was to try to push them on the other end after the Oscars, and then once they get an Oscar nomination, Oscar win or nomination, then use that as a way to parlay to bring success to his films after the fact.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's move on. We got more questions about the Game Awards.
The games.
We already got a sponsored question here, man.
Oh,
yo.
This is from Romudeth, man. Good guy. He's sponsoring Mob Hits' extra question. Did God of War really deserve all those nominations and all those categories, and did it deserve to win them as well? Again, refer to my earlier comments about what deserves or doesn't deserve. I don't care.
I'll tell you,
it was a great game.
Did it deserve?
But in your opinion, you said it did. That's what you told us.
No,
in your opinion, your game of the year,
Yes.
was God of War.
Yeah.
So then there you go. So it is deserving because in your opinion, it coincided.
My choice doesn't.
Just-
Yeah, it doesn't matter,
Okay.
dude. It doesn't matter.
What matters is your opinion.
that's what's saying your opinion.
Yeah.
Like that, he's asking you.
He's asking you.
Oh, he's asking. You're asking me if it was deserving of the Game Awards. I don't. Who gives a shit?
Adam is asking you for your individual opinion. Brett is asking you for your general audience opinion.
Oh shit! I don't know how to answer that. Take the answer however you want. How about that? Let's everybody kumbaya. How about that? Whatever you think the answer is.
Stray was Game of the Year.
Yeah, there you go.
If
Stray.
a random guy came up to you in the street and say, "Yo, you play video games? Fuck Mario." Listen, what was your game of the year?
Yeah.
And what would you say?
Yeah, no. The question is for this: was God of War deserving of it? Whatever. Who cares?
No.
Okay, let me hold on. Let me give this a shot at him.
You give a bad answer.
I just gave for 50 minutes. I've made my stance very clear on this, and you guys are still not understanding this.
Adam, it's your questioning. This is how you're supposed to. It's like asking, do you deserve to be on this planet? And I'm like, I don't know. It's like just ask them, Tony, what's your game of the year?
God of War.
I understand it's frustrating because you're just like, what is your opinion? And people are like, I don't know, man.
I answered it fucking 50 minutes ago.
He already said yes. He already said yes. In his opinion, it does deserve Game of the Year.
I didn't say that. I said it's my personal game of the year. Whether it deserves or not is irrelevant.
That's what I said.
Okay, my personal and in my opinion mean the same thing, Tony.
No, they're not. No, they do not. Not to me, they don't. There are two different questions. Does this game deserve to be game of the year? I can't answer that.
No, it's about that.
I can't answer that.
In your opinion, does it deserve to be game of the year?
I can't answer that.
Okay, so you can't tell me if it deserves to be the game of the year in your opinion, but in your opinion,
Who
it is
cares,
game of the year.
Dude? Listen. If you've been,
Mob Hits cares.
Huh?
That's it.
Mob Hits
Dude,
cares.
I've been saying for years on Twitter and in my writings, it doesn't matter what some random committee gives game of the year. What matters is what your game of the year is. I've always said this.
You know what? Forget it. Your answers are horrible. Listen, Brett, what was your game of the year?
Okay. I gotta answer this question real quick. So I think God of War, while I agree that Elden Ring deserved it more because it basically reinvented the fucking wheel, like God of War was a high watermark of everything that we already do in games. It was the most polished result of the standard approach to gaming. And that's valuable in and of its own right. So yeah, is it different than Elden Ring? Yeah. Did it deserve God of War Game of the Year award on any other year? Sure. But did Elden Ring deserve it more? Yeah, sorry. Elden Ring, once again, a Souls game, and more than any other time, literally changed the direction of an entire industry. You have to recognize that as tops, in my opinion.
All right, there you go. Yeah, there you go. My game of the year is WWE 2K22. That's my game of the year.
Uh-oh.
All right, Carlos, what's your game of the year?
Elden Ring might be my favorite game of the last decade, but I don't know how the hell it reinvented the wheel. That's a crazy statement.
I never played it. I saw a lot of people
but...
calling it a masterpiece. It
is, but it didn't reinvent anything.
It reinvented open world games and how they should be approached.
I don't know about all that. And I
there
love Elden Ring.
There was literally developers bitching about how you have to hold them by the hand and you can't make a game open world in this way. And Elden Ring went, fuck around and find out.
Elden Ring isn't doing anything that From Software hasn't. They've never held your hand.
They've never done an open world before.
They just took their approach to an open world game. It's not nothing new. And again, I love me some motherfucking Elden Ring.
Okay, let me phrase it differently. It impacted the direction of the entire industry. How's that?
We can't say that.
So did Fortnite. Did Fortnite reinvent the wheel?
We haven't seen another open world Souls like yet, Brett. But
that's true.
Yeah, Brett, come back to me in 5 years.
I'm gonna say this. What was it? I just totally lost my idea. All right, but yeah, I'm back.
Elden Ring
was my game of the year.
Yeah, what was your game? What was your game of the year so far?
That's not the question. The question was, is God of War deserving?
Was
God of War deserving of winning so many awards? That's the question. We're going off on a tangent right now.
I'll answer the real one, and then I'll answer the insert question that Adam just did.
Yeah. The question is, does God of War deserve to have won all those awards and be nominated? That's the question.
His thing, as far as the way the Game Awards goes, it's one of the hot games. It's one game that's all over the internet and all that stuff. So since that's the way the Game Awards seems to work, obviously it's going to be nominated, right? Did it deserve those awards? I can't say because I've never played the game. There you go.
Yeah.
And Manny's answer is straight.
So what's your game of the year?
My game of the year? I've only played a few current games, but to be honest, my I guess I would have to say Stray, but I don't. Would it have ever won the Game Awards? I wanted it
nominated.
People were talking about it.
It was nominated. I wanted it to win to say fuck you to everybody else because nobody would.
I would have loved the Stray one. I would have been on Twitter all fucking night.
It would have been hilarious.
It would have been hilarious. Yeah.
Obviously, they didn't want to cause the whole game industry to melt. So, it went to that one. But then again, It Takes Two won Game of the Year the previous year, right?
Yeah. Well, we know why that won, though, because they like the dude, you know?
It's definitely different. I played that one. That one was definitely different. I could see it winning just for being so different.
My one slight side note, I mean, if this is supposed to be an industry-wide Game Awards, how come it's all mostly dominated by Western games?
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
You know, it's funny you bring that up because they did, you're right about that, but they showed a lot of Japanese trailers. And every time I saw those trailers, I was wondering, I wonder where all these Westerners are thinking. Like, what are these weird Japanese games being shown?
Yeah.
Because whenever they showed a Japanese game, it looked off compared to everything else they were showcasing, I'm just saying I agree with you. It is a very Western-centered show. So when the Japanese game showed up, it was kind of weirdly out of place, which is also funny because the Japanese game won Game of the Year.
Yeah, I think I feel like but the thing about it is that Elden Ring, out of a lot of Japanese games, it is the most. Stylistically,
Western.
It's a fairly Western game. It's about knights. It's about obviously it's a game made by Japanese, but it's a certain aesthetic. I don't think a game.
It's the reverse Ghost of Tsushima.
It's the reverse Ghost of Tsushima.
That's right. Good stuff, man. All right, moving on here. Mob Hits, who's joining us tonight. What's the deal with world premiere trailers at the Game Awards? Most of these were already announced before. What the hell was the point?
I didn't see them. A lot of that stuff I didn't see. Besides that, right. Jedi one.
Basically saying a lot of these games were already announced. So it's like, what's the point?
Yeah, like that one with that one we couldn't name what the hell
Atomic
it was.
Heart. Car. Yeah.
And it was quite a bit of them. I don't know how it could be. Yeah, I can understand that. How is that a world premiere if it's already been shown and revealed?
Final Fantasy 16, right?
I guess world premiere.
Half that trailer was shown already.
That is true. Yeah, I was gonna say maybe if the content within the trailer is different than anything that's ever been shown, then I would understand it being a world premiere. But for those that had a lot of stuff that we've already seen, then that wouldn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So it was weird. Now let's get it in. Brett, are you ready, man?
I'm ready.
Next question. Was Microsoft's no-show at the Game Awards a slap to the face of its players? You and I had a very good conversation about this yesterday or over the phone, so hopefully we could conjure it up here. Basically, the story that came out after the fact, besides the stupid kid invading the show, was that, like, hey, Microsoft didn't show any fucking games at this. They had a sizzle reel, I get that. They had a couple little things, but they didn't really have anything, at least compared to Sony and Nintendo, right? And one of the theories being bandied around, and Adam and Brett subscribe to this, and I'm not saying conspiracy, I'm saying just theory, because who knows, it could be true, is that the reason Microsoft didn't show anything is because of all the scrutiny and all the lawsuits and all this other stuff happening with the FTC. Me and Carlos are like on the opposite end. We don't really think that's the case. But yeah, let's discuss it. And Brett, we'll start off with you because you feel pretty strongly about this.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying since before the Game Awards that basically that this was going to happen. This is a multi-billion-dollar deal. I don't think that they're going to risk fucking it up, especially for. And I don't mean to say like optics don't matter, but like for the most part, it's fairly inconsequential if they just delay announcements but don't delay releases. Like it's not going to matter that much. It's not a great look, but I think that not a great look is kind of intended. We've never seen them be this quiet, and I think that anything that they kind of showed that they had, even if it's stuff really putting down on things that they already have, doubling down. There we go. Even if it's doubling down on things that they've already shown, I think that still gives Sony ammo. And with the whole FTC thing basically being ludicrous from the get-go, I don't think we can even look at like, well, that's not logical ammo for them. Like, well, yeah, nothing. Like they're not using logic. They're just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. So if I were in Microsoft's shoes, I would be saying, yeah, don't fucking say a word. Don't say anything. We'll deal with it later.
And Adam, you subscribe to that too, right?
Well, mainly because of the documents. It's in the documents. If you see the documentation, the way Sony makes it seem like is that they're the underdog. They don't have the superior service. Microsoft does. They don't have everything. Microsoft has everything going for them. Look at them. They're the king. So if they're throwing that narrative and the FCC is buying into it, it's like, oh, yeah, look, you got all these great games FTT. And all this stuff. Well, yeah, FTC. If you're buying into all that, then it makes perfect sense. And I think the fact that they even pointed out that Uncle Phil and Major Nelson, they were there along with other higher-ups, and nothing really was shown was evident to that. It was like, you know what? Yeah, we'll show our face here, but guess what you're going to see? A whole lot of nothing. And then here it is. High on Life is getting announced. That's drops next week, and from when we looked even on their website, it's only for Xbox and PC and stuff, and I'm sure they have plans to throw that shit everywhere, but when they say exclusive, that's not a good look, especially when you're going into court, because that could be used as ammo. It's like, oh yeah, we got some exclusive, you got this big one, that's a known IP, look at the people behind that shit, that Rick and Morty crew, come on now, but look who won the awards. God of War, Sony exclusive, won a lot of awards. Horizon was announced and got a bunch of nominees. Hell, fucking Horizon was Forza Horizon 5 wasn't even nominated for a race or a sports tier. It was as if it was nothing, and that's fine.
But that was last year's game.
Yeah, it was last year's game. Yeah.
Well, nothing. Well, there you go. So
it was ineligible. Yeah.
It was ineligible. So nothing was mentioned on these type of things.
I mean, they can't nominate Halo updates for Game of the Year.
No. But they can't. They could have shown off the fact that it had that damn co-op and the Forge and all that shit. I'm sure because we've seen the packages online when they announced it. Beautiful video package. I don't give a shit. I hated the game. But they could have shown that off to try to. They could have shown off all the other games that are scheduled to come out for the rest of this month. Or like we talked about with the Starfield or whatever that's coming out January, February, whatever. They could have said, hey, here's the date. It's coming out early next year. But they didn't show shit. And I think based off just from the documents of how Sony is trying to make it seem like, oh, no, we can't do anything. It's all them, which we know it's bullshit. And rely on Call of Duty, which didn't win any awards on this thing. So it's just dumb, and so I think that's why they kept quiet on all of this, because of if that court case wasn't happening, I'm sure we would have seen a bunch of fucking shit. But instead, all we did was see Game Pass ads, and it was showing a sizzle reel of all the games that are already on. It showed the Halo and all the old shit.
Yep, Carlos, what's your take? And then I'm going to go in after that.
Yeah, I don't agree with Brett and Adam. I feel like they don't really have anything to show at this moment, because what have you seen? What have they've released this whole year? That's Microsoft first party.
Yeah, but we just said
something else
coming next week.
Yeah, but the announcement, the Activision Microsoft merger or acquisition was announced in January. We got an E3 showcase with a whole bunch of Microsoft games there. And I guess there was no problem there.
There's no pushback yet.
There was no pushback.
There's pushback. There's pushback since the beginning.
If you're going to court for anything,
there's not going to. You're not going to.
Your lawyer tell you don't say anything.
Sony's whole thing in pushing back from this is predicated on one game, and it's Call of Duty. If you announce fucking
no. The court,
if you announce Fable,
that's not the argument.
That's not the argument. The argument is that they're going to make all these games exclusive.
Yeah,
that's the argument.
And Call of Duty is the main one.
But they're trying to prove that. But they're trying to prove that that's not the case, because Fallout 76 is still on there, Skyrim is still on there, Minecraft is still on there. There's plenty of other games still on there. And if they had all these showcases of saying exclusive on Xbox, coming to Game Pass, exclusive on them, that's a bad look.
And they're already
getting announced one game.
They're getting heat for making Starfield exclusive, even though they never promised not to.
They never promised that. That's completely new.
No, so it just sounds like you're like,
and saying that they didn't honor it. Meanwhile, that Deathloop that got honored. That's still exclusive.
It just sounds like excuses to me, because you couldn't even give a release date for Starfield.
No, and that's kind of our point, man. Like if
have nothing.
If it weren't the case, don't you think they would have shown some stuff? They would show new footage of games that we already knew were coming to get that world premiere in the middle of the fucking show.
Well, they showed Hellblade. They showed Hellblade 2 last show, and they didn't show it during E3. That just disappeared. Fable, it disappeared. We haven't gotten anything from a lot of the games. The game that from the New Vegas guys, what are they called? Obsidian, that RPG game. We haven't gotten anything since it was announced years ago. Fable, nothing since it was announced years ago, and that wasn't even before the acquisition. We haven't gotten anything from all of these studios. The Initiative, we're hearing only bad stuff. Mm-hmm. The Coalition, I don't know what they're working on. Probably years, but we haven't gotten anything from them in more than a year now.
I agree. But I don't think we're going to see any of it at this point, just because of the optics of going to court. And because
the only thing that Microsoft
have all these exclusives. That's the last
thing. The only thing that Microsoft has to announce is Starfield. And we don't even have a release date for Starfield. We don't even know if it's going to come out the first half.
Okay, so are you really proposing that they have so little that they can't even show us new trailers of already announced games? Like, you think
everybody else was? Everybody else was
that's what I'm saying. Like,
for already announced games.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it seems ridiculous that they couldn't even pull together that. And the only reason I can think of is that they're doing it on purpose, because they've never been this quiet, even when they don't have anything to show.
If that's the case, Uncle Phil shouldn't have even shown up.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. Why did he even show up?
He showed up just to prove a point on the other end, because Sony didn't show up. It's like, hey, I'm still going to be here.
If Microsoft did not want to make a presence, he wouldn't even have showed up.
No. They made the presence, but they didn't show any exclusives. They don't want the optics.
It's not like they're not gonna. The FTC is not gonna be like, all right, let's everyone in the committee, let's look at the Game Awards, let's search this. Did Microsoft announce anything?
No, they don't have to do that. The attorneys are.
They're not doing it. They're not gamers. We even talked about this. These people do not know about video games, so the decisions they're making are not predicated on watching one trailer of a video game awards that's 3 hours long, and they're not gonna go through Christopher Judge's speech to find out if Microsoft has anything to cut this deal down.
You are right. It's not them. It's the lawyers. It's Sony that will come after and say all that shit.
Sony doesn't do shit.
They do.
They already have it.
The ball is not in their court.
It is. They're the ones.
The European Union already accepted this thing. They're already talking shit to the FTC for even doing this thing.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
the FTC
And how
kind of
did it
twisted the EU's words and shit or whatever.
Yeah,
something
exactly.
like that. Here's where I'm coming at it from. And I pretty much mostly agree with Carlos on this one. But here's my thing, right? Okay, and we're talking about optics here, right? Okay. By the way, Microsoft doesn't own Activision yet, right? So you can't even say you could show some of those games and be like, hey, whatever. But okay, let's just say for the sake of argument that that whole the FTC thing is the reason they didn't show it, right? They could have shown shit that was already announced, right? How is it going to hurt their case if they show more Starfield, which apparently they did before the pre-show, right? So why not show something? Because it looks bad when you're at the Microsoft Theater with Phil Spencer right there, his ass is on the seat, Major Nelson somewhere. It looks bad when Sony has a bunch of new shit, Nintendo has a bunch of new shit, Microsoft has nothing. Microsoft didn't have to show any new games. At least, and Brett, we talk about it doesn't fucking matter. It's already been announced. It's not going to hurt their case anymore.
It already is.
How? Starfield's already a known commodity. Everybody knows that's coming. If they would have shown here's Elder Scrolls 6, brand new, only coming to Xbox, then I'll be with you on that one, right? I get that, but everybody knows Starfield's exclusive. They already announced that it's an exclusive.
Yeah, that doesn't mean it can't be used as ammo. That doesn't mean that Sony couldn't.
It's already been used as ammo. It's already been used, so may as well use it again. Like Microsoft, like, hey, just show it again. Why not? Everybody already knows about it. It looks bad. And by the way, real quick, Ryan McCaffrey from IGN wrote an article saying that, if you're an Xbox gamer, you should feel like you got slapped in the face. I agree with him, and I'll take it further. I feel you should be insulted by this. 2 fucking years of this console and nothing to show for it but Halo and Forza. That's pathetic. So if I was an actual Xbox fan and I gave a shit about the Game Awards and I see Sony showing up a bunch of games, Nintendo showing up a bunch of games, I'd be pissed off.
You're just making our point for us, though. Like, that's the thing that's super frustrating about this.
No, but I'm not. But I'm saying they could have shown
they showed absolutely nothing. We should be insulted. They've never done this before. Yeah. They've never done it. It has to be a calculated risk because otherwise,
I'm not going to jump that. I can't make that assumption, though.
They are not dumb enough to not advertise their own products. Really? So, you think that it's just...
Well, that goes to what Carl's saying. Maybe they don't have anything ready to show right now.
But you said yourself that that they have things to show, and that's
even if it's an old trailer, show something.
Okay, that's my point. Again, you're arguing our point. Why didn't they do these things? Okay,
I have no idea.
If it was so easy, and you said you're frustrated because
I'm not frustrated. I'm speaking for the Xbox gamer here.
Okay,
I'm not. I don't give a fuck.
Did you or did you not just say that they have things to show?
Yeah, we all know.
Okay,
that. Yeah.
Okay, we all know that, but also you and Carlos seem to both think that they're not showing anything because they don't have anything to show. So what is it? They have things to show.
They have things.
But now you're putting words in my mouth.
Yeah. No. By the way, Carlos, you did say things are not ready yet to be shown. That's
but I never said that they do have something to show.
Yeah. So I would say, maybe something's going on where the games just aren't ready to be shown or whatever. Even though I'm just show an old ass trailer. You did it for Final Fantasy.
And by the way, if this was a coordinated attack, why the hell did Activision show anything?
They didn't show Warcraft.
They showed Activision. Activision showed stuff. So by your guys' logic, Activision alongside with Microsoft wouldn't have shown anything for this awards to not fuck anything up for the FTC.
Yeah, but Microsoft can't tell Activision what to do. If they
but they can do 10-year deals, right? But they can do 10-year deals to Sony, right?
Well, no,
they can promise 10-year deals.
You know what you're suggesting is illegal, right? That would be collusion, and that's illegal.
What?
What? You can't get together and try and put forth false information to mislead a court, right? Microsoft can do whatever they want and have their own
false information. How is that false information?
I'm sorry. What?
Okay, how is that false what is going on right now? Okay, Brett, what do you think is the false information?
The premise that that there is, what's the best way to put it? It would be technically a conspiracy to do that. A conspiracy is when 2 or more parties agree to try and fabricate the truth or make it be seen as something different, right?
Wait, but you're just saying that Microsoft is doing this right now by not putting anything
they're doing
in the
it by
Game Awards.
themselves, but when you do it with another person, that's what makes it a conspiracy. That's the conspiracies are not subject to court of law. I know. I'm just using that in the definition of the word, though. Like, do you know the difference between a plot and a conspiracy?
They can both go hand in hand.
Yeah, but one is a single, like, one is multiple parties, one is a single party, right? Like, Microsoft can do whatever they want with their advertising.
No, we can all plot. We can all plot on doing something as multiple parties.
Okay, but multiple people plotting together is, by definition, conspiracy. You see what I'm saying?
But we can also all plot together. Like, I don't know why we're stuck on the semantics of words, of these types of words.
I'm confused right now, man.
Like, we like this whole thing, like, Microsoft is not showing anything because they don't want to fuck something up, a deal that's fucked up. And
correct.
By definition, they could have done the exact same thing with Activision. It doesn't matter. People do
Microsoft could have done the same thing with Activision. Activision could have done the same thing on their own, sure.
But we even had this discussion.
That would be collusion.
We even had this discussion last week when you were talking about, oh yeah, there's reasons why Microsoft can offer deals for Activision titles to Sony right now before the deal even goes through. So how can they do backroom deals, 10-year deals to Sony and Nintendo, and the Nintendo ones already went through, but they don't even own them yet. But somehow omitting games from a Game Awards is collusion and subject to law.
And ask 9 questions on top of each other. Like, you want to break those down one at a time and I'll answer them? Nah,
I don't have time if you're not going to answer the first one.
I can't follow you, man. Like, you're asking me to track too many things. Like, you can't have, okay, you can put in a contract your intent to do deals down the road. You cannot try and get together to make it seem like you don't have anything to a court of law. It's
who's the court of law? The Game Awards?
The FTC.
The FTC. Oh, so if you tell them, hey, let's, hey, Activision and Microsoft, let's not, let's eat tacos on Tuesdays. Oh, it's subject to the FTC.
I'm telling you that if Microsoft went to Activision and said, hey, let's not say anything so we make sure that the FTC doesn't think that we have a lot going on, that is illegal. That's what I'm telling you.
I don't know how. I don't know. First of all, I don't know when you became a lawyer. Second, I don't know how the hell these companies do this thing all the freaking time. And somehow they're still just going around fine, or their same days and same backroom deals all the time.
Yeah, but they're not trying to influence a court case.
Who's being naive here?
Okay.
When you're trying to...
I think the whole point is just that from what was just that.
All the fucking time.
Look, you and I can get together and we can try and convince the whole world of anything, right? But if we get together and try and misdirect or lie to a court or just influence their opinion in a way that is not factually true, because showing that you have nothing if you have something would be factually untrue.
How is that untrue? You're not saying anything.
But they're not in the court. They're at
the Game Awards is not a court.
No, I understand that.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I was muted before. Sorry, guys. I was just saying that companies get together behind closed doors to talk to each other anyway. So why is this any? If it just
because they're not trying to influence the opinion of a court.
I don't know.
You can't lie in court, right?
Yeah, no, I know that, but I think we're getting too deep.
To be honest,
last thing, and then we'll move on because people are already pissed off.
I'm going to say this. To be honest, even if they showed something at a show or have something in development, the court is going to see it regardless. You know what I mean, Brett? Like, even if they decided to just drop a bunch of stuff all over the place, or didn't decide to drop anything, the court still sees that information.
They're not going to see it because it's not relevant. It's not relevant.
The court would already know that there was already things that are in development. So so it's not
it's the ones. It's the optics.
I just think that this sounds just like a lot of.
I just see it as the optics. That's the all I see it for. It's just they don't want the optics of just seeing exclusive, and for that to be used as ammo as like, hey, look, they're doing it too.
Yeah,
we have Spider-Man. We have God of War and the ones, but look at all the shit they got, and that's all the shit they bought from that damn Bethesda deal.
Again, like all of this information would be known by the court in general.
You would think,
like, even if they put it out on a show.
Exactly.
If it was, then it wouldn't be in court. If it was, it wouldn't be in court.
In general, like, wouldn't it be like, okay, like the court would audit them and be like, okay, so what are all the different, to prove that this thing is going on, what are all the things that you have in development, and when are they going to be coming out? They would know this already.
Okay, so let me ask you this real quick. If they did announce exclusive, do you not think it would be brought up in the court case later?
Hold on, wasn't this already submitted? Like, are they going to bring just more stuff? And if they, again, the only exclusives they're going to be showing are mostly things that we already know, right? So it wouldn't matter. Those
are part of the argument of the case.
Yeah,
because the case is that these games were supposed to be multi-plat, and Microsoft is changing the game and making it exclusive. Microsoft is saying we never said
Starfield was never said to be multi-plat, though.
That's what I'm saying. But they're saying that, and that Microsoft.
No, but that goes back to my old point. Like, if they show new Starfield, so they can be like, hey, they showed Starfield the Game Awards. It's like, okay, we already knew that already.
They showed it in E3.
Yeah,
they showed it in between E3 and
that's what I'm saying.
So are you saying? Hold on. Like, I asked a question, nobody answered it.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll ask it again. If they showed multiple exclusives during the Game Awards, do you not think it would show up in the court case later?
Well, that's a dumb question because they didn't even show one.
Yeah. By the way, no, I'm going to answer the question honestly here. Yeah, I think they would bring it up, and then Sony's lawyers will be like, "Yeah, they already, so Microsoft's like, yeah, we already announced these fucking games. Big whoop."
So it still affects the optics. It's still more evidence to go in. Like we were talking about a court case.
More evidence.
You can show multiple instances,
but it's not more evidence because it's old evidence.
Yeah, it's already been evidenced.
Yeah, if they show new games, that'd be a different story.
I would actually agree with you if they showed like 3 new exclusives out of nowhere. I would have been like, oh shit, like that. I would have fucking agreed with you.
But even if they showed games that we knew were coming and said exclusive,
if all they did
pointing that shit out, they'd be like, just at the Game Awards, they just said it was exclusive just then, and that would affect the optics of the court case.
Brett, I would throw a monkey wrench at Microsoft and just say, your only announcement, do this. Your only announcement, just give a fucking date to Starfield. That's it. Just the numbers. 3, 27, 23, something like that. Whatever it is. That's it. But they didn't even do that.
If anything, I would have boycotted the whole thing.
Okay, again, so let me go to my original question.
Well, it's okay. It's by name. I would have just still not done anything. Because
let me ask you, Carlos. Let me ask my original question. Like, so do you just really think they couldn't have come up with a couple trailers to throw out there? Like, do you think that was beyond their ability? Like, why? No, I'm not. Why do you think they didn't show anything if they didn't show anything?
Because they don't want. So here's okay. If you really want my opinion on this, I think Microsoft doesn't have anything that's particular, quote unquote, new. Like, they don't have new gameplay to show for Fable or anything to show for fucking Hellblade 2. Or anything that's ready right now at this moment.
Okay, so why wouldn't they just throw together a trailer?
Well, repeat that again.
Why wouldn't they just throw together a trailer with some new shit, or even just a new scene
for what game?
For any of the games that they've announced before.
I don't think they're ready. But
they could show another CGI for Fable.
I don't know if they have that. I don't know.
So I literally don't know. You don't think that they could pull together a trailer? Like,
I said that they didn't have anything. That's a different question. Like, I don't think they had anything ready. I don't think they had anything ready for this show to announce that would have gotten their people excited. The only thing that I think they could have done was give a date for Starfield, but I don't think they're even ready to commit to that yet.
Okay, but they've not had stuff before, and they've still shown like sizzle reels and trailers and shit.
No, exactly. They've showed it, and they would have showed another sizzle reel for Fable, another fucking frog eating a fairy for Fable, another the same gameplay footage for Hellblade 2, and all that stuff. And that's where I would have agreed with you if they had new games that would have actually gotten people excited, as opposed to retreaded CG trailers from games that we already know are coming. It would have raised questions for the FTC. Like there, I would have fucking agreed with you.
So you think that they went, okay, we can't get together a new trailer or anything for any of our games. Like we can't get together a new Starfield trailer, even though Todd Howard just did. So we're then just not going to show anything. Like you think that was a calculated risk on their part?
No,
I
just think
show nothing, not even just old rebooted shit. Like that's never happened before.
Only one of their
it's a choice.
Won an award at Dust
Just like
I was the only one that won.
All right, let's move on because people in the chat are already getting pissed off.
You're like, what is this?
It is. What's going on? All right. By the way, Chagzilla said a statement, but there was no question in there. So you got to form it in the form of a question, man. All right. Moving on here.
People.
Yeah. Jay Shep, who's been joining us in the chat. All right.
What's up, Jay?
What's going on, brother? He goes, first question here. A lot of people make the comment it's better than being purchased by Amazon or Google when it comes to Microsoft acquiring studios. My question is, what has Microsoft done in gaming in 22 years that Amazon and Google couldn't do? Microsoft is still in last place and still can't consistently make quality games. What have they done in the last 22 years? Actually make games and game consoles. Google and Amazon haven't done that.
Yeah, I think that's what it really comes down to.
You know, and think about it. Google Stadia, you saw how that went down, right? Mm-hmm. Amazon Luna is going in that same direction. So Microsoft, yes, they are in third place, but at least they're in place.
And
Amazon, Google, and Amazon ain't even on the fucking.
They're not even on the field.
They're not even in the field. So that's the answer right there. Microsoft has proven themselves. Yes, they are in third place, but at least they're there. Amazon, Google have tried and thus far have failed.
Shit.
You know,
for any other company.
By the way, real quick, Adam, I say this: just because you have the resources doesn't mean you could actually compete in the gaming industry. How many in the '90s? I remember Panasonic, 3DO, all that shit. There've been so many people. Microsoft, when Microsoft started this, people were like, "Oh, this shit's gonna fail too," because we saw their failures. They've been here for 22 years. That says a lot. You know?
Any other company after the Red Ring of Death would have folded. They would have just backed out. Like, exactly. We're done with the gaming shit. We fucked up. All that. We can't do this. We'll stick to software. Yeah. Nope. They went all ham, and they keep saying it. They're in it for the long haul, and so you got to support that. You got to believe. Well, you know what? They can take their punches and get up. And
again, keep going. 22 years. That's more than Google and Amazon could say. You know, so there's the answer right there, man. All right, next question. A lot is up in the air regarding the Activision Blizzard acquisition. Oh, boy, let's assume the acquisition passes. If Sony refuses to carry Call of Duty and or Activision games on PlayStation, will Switch and Steam be enough to continue COD's financial success?
They will not.
This is not going to happen. Jim Ryan's talking all this shit. At the end of the day, he's going to cave in to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. There is no chance in hell that PlayStation is not going to have fucking PlayStation, or Activision games.
After that deal goes through, he's like, so about that 10-year deal.
Yeah, exactly. He's just blustering. He's talking all this shit. I guarantee you those games will still be on PlayStation no matter what. And Sony would never do that. They would never be like, oh, no Activision games, no Call of Duty games. They're not going to do that. I understand the questions, like speculative or whatever. No, that is way beyond the realm of reality, So
because that goes against everything they're arguing right now. Mm-hmm. That Microsoft's trying to take it away. At this point, then you're taking it away because they're saying, "All right, go ahead. Are you ready? You're going to take the 10 years?" No.
Yeah. So that's not going to happen. So because some people have talked about this, like, oh, what if Sony decides not to have active? It's not going to happen. You think they're not going to have fucking Diablo? They don't want Diablo. They don't want Overwatch. They don't want. Come on. They want that shit. Again, Jim Ryan's talking all that shit. They're going to have a fucking deal. Trust me on that. They will do something. He's just talking shit right now. So
Philip.
Philip, was that deal that you had before?
Yeah. All right, man. Moving on here.
I think our players would like it.
Yeah. A less contentious question here. Mr. One Subset. I believe he's also been joining us in the chat tonight. Where you at, man? Shout out to him anyway. I finally scored an Xbox Series X over Black Friday. Good on you, sir.
Nice.
And he wants to know what is the best television to get for this console that'll, really show off everything, man. So I know we got some new TVs now. Like I want, me, I want to get, what my answer wants to be, but it's like we got newer TVs in the CX right now.
Man, your CX is obsolete, son. Obsolete. Now they got a new one.
Here's the best answer. Go into the settings, go into video settings, and it'll show you all the things that it's capable of doing, all the bells and whistles, HDR, and all the other, the V something. Yeah, the console. Go on the console. It'll show you all the things that your current TV supports and what it doesn't support. And then when you see the things that it doesn't support, then look that up on YouTube of somebody who has that TV with that option on and see if it impacts their game at all.
Yeah,
that's the best way.
Yeah, you're right. No, I think that's good, but there's some basics too. Get a TV with HDMI 2.1 support, HDR10. I would personally suggest an OLED TV.
HDR10 or Dolby Vision because that's the LG equivalent, I think.
Okay, yeah.
And some of the games supported Gears and some of the other ones supported. There's a whole list if you type in the Dolby games and it keeps growing, but it's separate. That's separate than the HDR.
But just to keep it simple, so what TV would you recommend?
Obviously there's the OLEDs, there's two big hitters, the OLEDs or the quantum LEDs that Samsung and Sony does, and so Sony does OLEDs as well. There's different attributes to each. OLEDs aren't as bright, but they're way more vibrant and they have a way better contrast ratio. Like they have pure blacks, so the dark portions of video games or movies or whatever
it's a great rugby team.
It's a great rugby team as well. Samsung, they're going to be brighter. They're not going to have burn-in. That
and you'll have Game Pass already built in that shit too. So
yeah, they did. They did announce that.
Yeah.
Yep. And 2021, 2022 TVs. So anything before 2021 is not available yet.
Yeah. By the way, because people talk about burn-in and stuff, they have.
It's not
it's not really a problem anymore.
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, it is a problem.
It's a problem, but the thing is, I'm saying newer TVs have features built in to prevent that stuff.
Yeah, you'd have to really be doing the exact same thing. Use it as a computer monitor or something like that to actually kind of see it. So so like for us who me and Tony who have OLEDs and use it for our to watch Medium and stuff. It's we haven't seen any of those issues.
I don't have any issues.
You run that. I haven't used a projection screen in a long time, but as I remember, they have that little thing that you run every so often.
I know what you're talking about. Mine's actually automatically runs like once a year. Just to kind of clean up the pixels or whatever. You could do that manually too, but I haven't had an issue. But again, I only use my TV for gaming. I don't use it as my PC, obviously. Then obviously you would probably get some shit burned in there,
I use mine as a PC also, and I don't get any of those burn-ins.
Okay. OLED, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it also depends on how long you have had, a certain image on the screen. It's usually. It's like like HUD burn-in and stuff like that.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with that.
You gotta leave it on the screen and never.
If my TV, if I leave it alone, real quick, Adam, it'll just go dim after a while.
Mine goes off. Mine's just shut off. If I'm not doing anything, my computer will go off and the monitor will shut off. Yeah. But it's not like the days of plasma. Remember plasma? You could
plasma. I had one.
That's what I when I lived with Chris. I think Chris still has the plasma. But what we used to do.
Injecting it with new plasma and shit.
Oh my
God. No, that wasn't actually the one that we had. We had his mom had a plasma TV, and that was the one that he had to inject new plasma.
Plasma is the one thing I remember when I saw the first signs of burning. People were showing screenshots of they were big into ESPN, and ESPN had the ESPN
Adam
plugged in.
That was me.
That was you. Yeah. There you go.
I left it on ESPN and I fell asleep and That's it. My TV's burnt into
it.
ESPN. I know the Yankee score from 2014.
They fucking stamped it like a cowboy. You've been marked. Your TV's ESPN.
You know.
So you know, from a personal perspective, I would recommend the new model for the LG OLEDs, the C2. I have a CX myself. I know Tony has a CX as well.
You know.
We swear by those TVs. They're great.
My
So yeah, go for C2.
Yeah. LG, man, for life, man. You know, good stuff.
Life's good. That's what LG stands for.
Yeah. Words you would never think you would say with Lucky Gold Star.
Yeah, right.
Gold Star used to be crap ass electronics.
Yeah, it used to be shit. Now they're good. You know. All right, let's move on here.
Mad Cat still sucks though.
No, yeah, they're trash.
Mad Cat's not even the same company anymore, right? Mad
No,
Cat's
they don't.
It's somebody else. I don't know.
Kiss Shack, who's also been joining us, got a couple questions here. In an interview, Phil Spencer said Sony wants to grow. Hold on, what is this? Okay, here we go. I was reading it a little wrong. In an interview, Phil Spencer said that Sony wants to grow PlayStation by making Xbox smaller. Ironic, given that Microsoft is the only one buying publishers. What are your thoughts? Sony's buying publishers too. They bought Bungie.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they just bought Bungie. I saw that one. I sent that out. In fact, it was an audio from a podcast where he went through the whole thing. He said, we're looking at the bigger picture for the software. We want on all these platforms, and they just want to shrink it down because they want to keep things the way it is.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. What do you think about that statement? You know, what do you think, Adam, about that statement?
They all buy it. They're all buying it. If Sony had the money, they would have bought it. That's the bottom line. It's all about money. That's it. They bought Destiny. They bought a bunch of other studios. They bought the studio that's making all these awesome ports of Spider-Man and God of War and all that stuff that's putting on for the PC one. They bought them. That was another studio. So it's all about who has the most money and can buy it. That's it. And Microsoft is. I mean, it's weird. It's like they're not in the market leader, nowhere even close right now when it comes to console, but they do have the biggest bank account. Yeah. So what do? Well, they
their
buy
biggest exclusive, as we've always said.
Exactly.
Their biggest exclusive is money, you know.
It's the money. And they fucking got lucky with this whole thing because, as we all said before, Activision has shipped this to a bunch of companies. They offered it to Facebook, they offered it to Amazon. It's like, who got money? Google. Everybody passed on it. And Microsoft's like, all right, well, we got that money. We could do it. And that's it.
And Elon should have bought this shit.
Or anything. But if Sony would have had the money, they would have been part of that group. And they could have just bought it, and then maybe the roles would have been reversed. Who knows? You know, in a what-if scenario, do you think they would have tried to make Call of Duty exclusive?
Yep.
PlayStation. Oh,
they would have done
absolutely, yeah. And by the way, the statement to me is kind of funny because Microsoft is trying to do that too. You know, they want to shrink. They want to grow Xbox by shrinking Sony down. This is just the way things work, man. You know, this is just how it is. Yeah. And obviously, Nintendo's at the little kids' seat. They're at the little kids' table doing their thing, you know. They're not part of the conversation.
They're hanging out in the blue ocean.
Adults are here talking, you know.
They're in a special place.
So I don't disagree with what Phil Spencer believes because Microsoft is also doing the same thing. You know, that's just business, you know.
I will say this, though. You know, obviously, you know, you guys are right. If Sony had the capabilities to buy Activision, they definitely would have.
They would have locked that shit down.
But you know, on
Sony
the opposite
been
side,
as nice about it. I'll just tell you that they would have bought that shit, but this exclusive, and that's that. You know.
Oh yeah, and they would have definitely made all Call of Duty exclusive off the bat.
So here's the question: do we know what's going to happen to Destiny? Because Destiny's still on Xbox.
No, it's still multiplayer.
They're still gonna keep it there.
Because I have a feeling that part of the business negotiations with Bungie was that it would be multiplayer.
Multi-platform. So Bungie was like, "Well, we'll do it if you agree that we can play nice with all the other ones."
Yeah, I would assume so because they just make too much fucking money on that.
And that's the thing. Well, that's what Phil said. He said it's all about making money. He said if I was to cut, like they said, they're the market leaders. PlayStation, no denying it. They have a larger play base, install base, blah blah blah. He says it would be dumb business to spend the money we're spending and then pull it from that leader. We need to make this money back. This money isn't just expendable. You know, we need to make all this money back, which is why we made these deals with Nintendo and with Steam and all the others. We want this everywhere so we can generate revenue. We have to make this money back so then we can start turning into a profit. It's going to take years for them to get $56 billion back.
I will say this. You know, if Sony would have bought Activision, they would have gotten pretty big pushback from Microsoft on the counter end. But something that would be different is I'm pretty sure Nintendo would be pushing back from this as well.
Of course,
because Sony and Nintendo have that history.
Well, here's the thing, though. It's like other than they don't have Nintendo hasn't had a Call of Duty game with the exception of the Crash games. They haven't really had.
Yeah, we had a Call of Duty
one, but I mean, yeah, they haven't had a Call of Duty in years.
Oh, I have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
So and Adam, I feel like Adam is the most appropriate person to answer this question because he's a Call of Duty head and plays on his Switch a lot. This whole Call of Duty on the Switch, how is that going to work?
I when I saw that, I was like, it's got to be the old ones, so the 360 games, the PS3 games, because that's all the ports we've been seeing. And if they decide that they're going to, I think it was clickbait. I think I said it to you. I was like, this is fucking clickbait when it was showing the God of War, the current one. I'm like, there's no way you're going to get this shit working unless you do the cloud and unless Microsoft is holding through their cloud system. Not fucking Nintendo with their bullshit cloud, because none of
the booty cloud,
the booty cloud,
the booty cloud.
They're all garbage. They're all garbage. Doesn't matter how good your internet connection is and stable, the shit just doesn't work right. A lot of frame issues, dropping, blur, all that shit. So unless Microsoft, if at that point owned Activision, take everything, move everything to their back end servers that they use Game Pass and handle that business, then yeah, I could see that possible. But I'm assuming it's going to be all the older games because you can play catch up. People would still play because remember we had Call of Duty 1 and 2 remastered get released a few years ago. Remember?
Yeah.
So they can easily just port those over. There you go. You got some Call of Duty. Bring all the old ones.
Kishak mentioned in the chat. He said the 10-year deal with Nintendo specifically said Nintendo consoles, not the Switch. So, if a Switch Pro comes out eventually, maybe that would have been better.
But we've talked about that before. When did Nintendo ever try to get on par with all the big boys? They never do.
No. They were trying to do that prior to
the 64.
No. Oh. Think about it. Super Nintendo was more powerful than Genesis, right?
Yeah.
The Nintendo 64. It was it literally said 64. 64 bits were powerful, and the GameCube was more powerful than the PlayStation 2. They were always on par. At least those three consoles with the Wii. They're like, we're not doing this shit anymore.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is that because they were using old tech, they maximized their product.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
it's
the amount of money they were
getting. It's like Nintendo within the last 20 years.
Because in 10 years, they're definitely going to have some other consoles. In 10 years,
their next console is going to be. The next console, by the time we're already in 2 generations ahead, they're gonna have a console that's as strong as this generation.
Yeah. I think the big one was the whole thing with Steam saying, "No, we know it's gonna be here. We know it, because that's where the big install base is." So and remember, there was a lot of bad blood between Valve and Microsoft for a long time. So that was a big one. I wasn't sure about that when I first heard that they were gonna make a deal with Valve. I was like, that I don't know. That maybe they may be some background, but no, they were okay.
I'm sure. Gavin likes money.
Yeah, well, that's exactly. So,
none of these personal feelings get in the way when you got a big old check hanging.
But then again, people have to remember that once Microsoft decided to take their games off of just their Microsoft PC store, because remember they had their own launcher and all that bullshit. The first place they went to Steam. Halo is on there, Gears is on there, Forza is on there. You can just go and download them within the store and stuff. So that was it. So I guess they squashed their beef. Okay, let's play nice.
All right, man. Next question here, also from Kit Shack. Out of all the mascots that PlayStation has had, Kratos and Ratchet, I guess Clank 2, have lasted the longest throughout the generations from PS2 to PS5. Why have they survived the longest? And is it a good thing that PlayStation has mascots that don't always make it to the next generation? I think because their games have been the most consistent. We've had those games pretty much since their first inceptions. They haven't really stopped. Sly Cooper eventually stopped. Jak and Daxter eventually stopped, right? Uncharted kind of started later than those.
Where's the cold dude, man? Remember what's his name? When they had Yeah, man, I love those games.
Which one?
I mean, to be honest,
Cole, wasn't his name was Cole? What was his name?
Cole McGrath. He sounded like a skateboarder.
Infamous, yeah.
Yeah, the Infamous dudes. For a while, he was on those when they would show like the montage.
But that last one didn't do the numbers they wanted.
Yeah,
it was a different dude though. They went with that hippie guy in Seattle. I was like, what the fuck?
But even to be honest, even like Infamous 2, as much as people like that one, that also didn't do as good as the previous one either. They've been. The Infamous franchise has had steadily, declining returns.
Yeah, with God of War, Kojima did good. Yeah, it did well, but again, like the question is like, why have those two last the longest? Yeah, because they've been consistent. And the last Ratchet and Clank game didn't do great numbers, but it did numbers consistent with what the series has always done, right? So they're gonna make another one. We're probably gonna get another God of War. Again, it's just these characters have been around, and also because they are actually iconic. They passed the silhouette test. Manny, you know what that is. That's why Nathan Drake is not iconic, because it's just a dude.
I mean, he that's why they gave him that little bit of spiky hair on the top. To try in general to try to give him a little bit of a unique silhouette. But yeah, he's sort of just regular guy in a t-shirt.
Yeah. By the way, for you guys who don't know the silhouette test is, take a character, just have their silhouette. If you can recognize them, they pass the silhouette test. Kratos definitely. Even new Kratos, he still passes that.
Yeah, he's still the way his shape is. Yeah, you should tell that it's Kratos even from silhouette. But there's certain
Mario
characters.
Master Chief.
Mario, yep.
Mario Master Chief. But here's the funny thing: if you take a character like Spider-Man,
he does not unless he's doing a pose.
No,
he's
got to be upside down.
His poses do the silhouette, but if you look at him plainly, he is the shape of a person.
That's right.
But that is also the power of Spider-Man, because he fits in the other category of game protagonist in anything.
You can put yourself in them.
You can put yourself in that situation. It's called
Master. It's also why Master Chief works, why Doom Guy works.
It just brought up a reminder of a question. I want to add a question to this.
Whoa.
I want to add a question because there's something I forgot before. I was like, so with this whole court case, do you think they could work out a deal? Let's say it's like, all right, let's play nice. Let's make a new deal then, where they can do some kind of exchange. You get more time, more than 10 years or whatever, if you give Spider-Man. Do you think they would be open to that?
I don't know.
It doesn't have to be the new shit.
That's too speculative. But
they hold a lot of cards on Spider-Man. It's a really weird one because they have the game rights and in addition to the film rights.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know how that would happen, but the other thing is Sony.
But to answer the question, I don't think it'll happen. I think
the other thing is that Sony seems to have really good relations with Disney. So
yeah, I don't think it'll happen.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on here. Who is this? Eurocar 9? Who is this guy?
Who this guy?
Craigslist guy.
Yeah, he's got Craigslist guy. He got some questions. First one. What effect will Death Stranding 2 have on the Kojima project he's working on with Microsoft? Great question. I'm going to assume that he's probably going to work on that project later, right?
I don't know.
Death Stranding 2 is done. I think it's done.
I don't know about that because I got to take some.
I don't know if it's done.
Yeah.
Why would he take? Why would he take time off? That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking one's out.
Here's the thing. It's like a 3. In general, it seems like at least for the Death Stranding type of games, it takes him about 3 years. It was 3 years since Metal Gear, right?
Yeah,
3-4 years.
Yeah, and we should say Death Stranding came out relatively fast for a Kojima.
Yeah, that one came out fast.
Yeah, so Adam, you might be onto something. But here's my question, Manny. I'm asking you specifically, so you probably know about this. Does Kojima Productions have enough staff to work on 2 games simultaneously?
Well, I mean, they did say that they opened another branch. They have 2 other branches. They have one in and where the guys who make Decima is. They have one over there, and then they also have one in California.
And Carlos, there you go.
And we also don't. Oh, we also don't know. They have a deal with Microsoft, but we don't exactly know what fully obviously it's an Xbox deal, but we don't know fully what that deal.
And if it is a game, maybe Microsoft gave them one of their studios. All right, use these guys for whatever shit you need. Yeah. When you need mocaps, here, take these fools over here ain't doing shit.
It's weird because he said he's like, yeah, and they added that little bit at the end of his little little interview that he had on the Game Awards stage, where it was like, "Yeah, and I'm still working on these other things."
Well, he had that horror game, right? That got leaked or something. He said did a cease and desist for whoever, so people were like, "Oh, well, it must be
Yeah,
real."
that
talking
one
about
was
Abandoned?
no, it's not Abandoned. It was called something else, and it literally looked like a phone game, to be honest. Like it was a proof of concept video, and like you see, like it's the girl from Death Stranding. It's the Mama from Death Stranding. If you got know who
blonde
that
chick?
actress is, no, the black haired chick.
Oh, okay.
Not the girl that's the main who seems to be the main character in Death Stranding too, but it was the other girl. It was another girl, but then there was all these additional things in there. So I don't know what the deal with that is, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe. Oh, to be honest, I always thought like to be honest, I always like had thought that Death Stranding would be. Because to be honest, I'd say I didn't really need another Death Stranding. It kind of just closes itself up fine. But I think I always felt like, what if Death Stranding was like the Twilight Zone, or like or like the Man and Madan Company, those guys, whenever the Twisted Pictures or whatever they call themselves, where every single subsequent sequel is slightly different than the last, where it's not exactly the same thing.
So you're not excited for this one?
I haven't seen anything.
Yeah.
It's like looks cool as far as visuals go, but I don't know what you're going to be doing. To be honest, it looks like we're I don't know if people would even be patient enough to play another game like Death Stranding again. Which leads to the theory I've had about this game is that because of the way the marketing is sort of switched around a little bit, and the seemingly change of main characters, I think the new, as it's called on the thing, and the logo change and all that stuff, I think they're sort of rebranding the franchise, and it's not going to be exactly the way the previous one is. I don't think you're going to be walking around all over the place carrying packages in this one.
I agree with that. I think it'll be different.
I think it'll be different.
Yeah, we obviously we don't know what kind of game it'll be, but
we don't know. But yeah,
you know?
I think it'll be adjacent to that sort of control and sort of that stuff. But I don't think, again, like I feel like the original Death Stranding was so divisive when it to the way the gameplay worked, where you're literally carrying a bunch of packages around to different people, fetch quests.
Yeah. Again, a little too prophetic that game was.
Yeah.
Where basically a virus made it so delivery men were the heroes. Yeah. That ended up happening. Kojima, stop predicting shit, please.
Well, he said he changed the story to Death Stranding 2 so he wouldn't predict anything.
He said he had to rewrite.
Then watch that happen.
He had to rewrite it because he didn't want to predict anything again. Because he keeps being right about this shit. He predicted meme culture perfectly.
Yeah, and
20 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, more than 20 years ago now.
21 years ago now. Because 21 years ago. Fucking crazy.
Yeah, because it came out in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, all that shit came to pass. Junk fucking information filling up the internet. Everybody believing fake news. All that shit predicted it 21 years ago.
Yeah, and then the idea of something bringing context to the context list, AIs and algorithms.
So he's
by
a
the way,
wizard.
wait, is this me plotting with the fans right now? If anybody wants to ask me and Manny about what we think about this whole AI stuff, please do. 'Cause I want to keep my job. You know what I'm saying? Like,
do they have AI writers now?
Yeah, they have AI news writers, and Manny, I've read some of this stuff. It's almost indistinguishable from a real.
So wait, so how does it? It just scours the internet, finds something, and generates an article on it.
I read some AI generated game reviews and shit. Yeah,
So you can never trust it,
and also AI generated news posts, and you couldn't tell, man.
I saw a video. I don't know if this is that
but let's not
crazy
go.
that's going on.
Real quick, we'll talk about that on the AMA show. But real quick, Carlos, and then we'll move on.
Is it that same thing that, because I haven't been in touch with this, but is it the same thing that people are like, they just tell like a text editor, say, write me a story about Jamie who is going to Mars, and that's it, and then the AI will write a story about Jamie going to Mars.
I'm not sure if it's that. It might be that something else. But yeah, there's a conversation I had with my friend Jeffrey over the summer. It's like we're looking at it, so like, yo, they're trying to put us on a job, bro. But anyway, somebody wants to ask us about that next week. You can. All right, moving on here. Another one from Mr. Eurocar. For no particular reason here, what are Carlos's thoughts on the Game Pass app for Samsung TVs? Carlos, what do you think about
Carlos?
About Eurocar's question there?
Very interesting question,
Very
Mr.
interesting.
Eurocar. So I tried. It was announced that Game Pass is now going to be, because it previously was only for 2022 version of Samsung TVs, but now they made Game Pass available for 2021, and my parents happen to have a 2021 Samsung TV. So over the weekend, I went to try it out, and I was just curious to see how Game Pass would work on streaming on TV. And I will say, the interface is great. The connectivity is really good.
Was it over 5G or was it just?
No, it was this. This was over Wi-Fi.
No, I know, but was it under a 5G connection? Did it ask, or it went over
5G.
a basic 2 point? When you had connect the 5G.
Oh, the frequency.
Yeah, the frequency. The 5G.
It was at the mercy. It was at the mercy of the TV. I'm not sure what frequency the TV is, but the router is right next to the TV, like literally right next to it.
Doesn't matter.
So, and the internet is perfectly fine because my parents watch YouTube on that thing all day and every day, and they never have issues. So I watched, I tried it out. The interface is great. I like the way that they make you hook up the controller. It's like, it's kind of integrated to, they tell you like specific instructions, and it's really well taught how to connect your controller to the TV and all that. But one thing I will say, and this game is a game that I test out for everything, and it's Ori and the Blind Forest, or no, Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Mm-hmm. I try that out on anything, and one thing, the latency is really good. You can barely notice latency between when you press on the thumbstick and you move your thumbstick, and Ori moves in the thing. But for some reason, the resolution, it looked like it was like 720 to 1080, between 720 and 1080p.
It only does that. It won't do 4K.
Yeah, so I was kind of disappointed.
Even on the browser, even the one on the browser, they don't have it set to do 4K. It could only, remember, that was the whole thing that Google was hyping up their system that actually does 4K, because the cloud won't do it. The highest it can get is the 1080p, and they said that's due to stability and stuff like that. Yeah,
so I was, because it did look kind of funky on the TV, because it was like an 80-inch 4K TV. So it just didn't look as good. So I was like kind of disappointed on that. Like if you stream it like on a tablet, it's probably gonna look really freaking good. If you stream it on a 1080p TV, it's probably gonna look really good. But yeah, if you stream it on a 4K TV, it just doesn't do it justice, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah, 4K. It's not doing.
Yeah, because everything else about the service is really good. The latency was really good. The interface was really good. So kind of sucks. And I'm wondering if they ever decide to do 4K, because they fucking have to. I don't know, that 1080p is just not going to stick forever, unless
the way they made it seem like they just wanted it to be fair for everybody. So it's like, hey, this is it. And because once they say 4K, there's all kinds of other things they have to play in. It's like, it's going to definitely require more bandwidth. So what kind of data package do you have with your provider? Don't blame us if you get hit with this other charge. You went over. Like, we're just playing your game. It didn't give me a warning.
No, yeah, I do understand people who have issues with bandwidth on their ISPs and stuff. So if those have to be relegated to 1080p, I can understand that.
Yeah, they should have an option.
But in the future, I would assume, 5 years from now, Game Pass is thriving and bigger than ever. It probably should have a 4K feature on this. So hopefully that ends up the case. But yeah, like you mentioned, I do understand a lot of the stuff with bandwidth, not just from the person's ISP, but from the the Xbox's wherever they're feeding their servers from, because I know Google and YouTube are kind of in a crossroads with YouTube and the way they do 4K. They kind of want to put that under a paywall because of bandwidth stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see how Game Pass handles this. And if they do a 4K feature, then expect those price increases to come in too.
Or at least it'll be a special plan for people that want to stream in 4K. Well, then you pay extra. So like how Netflix does it. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Great question.
All right. We got a sponsored one. This is from, who is this? Citizen? Who is this?
I don't know who this is. Another dude, Craigslist.
Yeah, so he's sponsoring another question from Eurocar here.
Whoa.
For no particular question, Citizen is sponsoring this one. What are Adams' thoughts on High on Life?
That game is crazy. That if you have kids, do not let your kids watch you play this game. Even if like, but Daddy, that looks so cute. Yeah, cute. Yeah, it's the bed. Don't look at this shit. Block the game. Don't put it in one of your front folders, because from what we've seen, and I checked it, it looks like it's just Xbox and PC, and it doesn't no mention of PlayStation right now. That game is. If you're into Rick and Morty, this is it. This is candy right here, because it's the same writers. It's the same. You got Rick and Morty. You got the same two characters. One's playing the gun. The other one is doing the narration. Then you got a knife that's talking to you, also telling you to gut everybody like fish and shit. It's crazy. I don't even want to spoil it, because what I've told you guys off air, that was an eye popping moment, and that happened like 10 minutes. Cool. So it's fun. It's coming out next week. So on Game Pass, check it out if you have it. It's awesome.
There you go.
And it plays like BioShock Infinite, which is weird.
Yeah, that is
definitely
interesting.
Weird. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
Yep. All right. Another one from Ramu that he's sponsoring another question. Damn, Eurocar got a lot of questions tonight, man. What is?
What's up with that?
Yeah. For no particular reason, Ramu is asking, can Tony, tell us about Callisto Protocol? Skip it. Don't buy that fucking game. By the way, I finally beat it tonight. I rage quit. I told the story on the last show I was on. After facing the same boss type 4 times in a row within a span of 3 hours, I'm like, nah, I can't do this. Stop, rage quit. Stop playing it. Came back, I beat the boss, that boss. Then I got to the final boss. Rage quit on that, being too fucking annoying. Then I finally
feel overpowered toward the end, because I kept hearing all of you like.
Oh, I was underpowered for the whole fucking game.
So they're talking shit.
Yeah, because the controls are fucking. I said this on the last show. The controls are fucking terrible. Like, the game works great on a 1-on-1 battle, but as soon as you introduce even one more enemy, the whole thing breaks down, and it's so reliant on like melee combat. But the camera, people complain about God of War camera being so close. The shit is even closer than that, so you can't see nothing. And then your guy's slow as molasses. Can't run anywhere. Reloading takes forever. Getting your guns out takes forever. Everything takes forever. Your guy's so fucking slow, and these monsters are just so fast. And like I was questioning, do I just suck at this? But no, everybody has this problem. The game's just bad. And again, me, I was hyped. I remember I specifically said I was more hyped for this game than the Dead Space remake, right? This is how bad it got. Because remember, I've said I don't want a Dead Space remake because I feel the first game is perfect as is. Don't remake it. Callisto Protocol was so bad, I'm yearning for that fucking Dead Space remake just to watch that taste out of my mouth. It's a bad game. Don't buy this shit. It sucks. There's your review. Even though I do have my full review over on Tom's Guide if you want to read it, instead of me just saying it sucks and skip it. But
you could read a more nuanced version of.
Although the first sentence is, I said the Callisto Protocol is proof that you should be careful what you wish for. The headline for it was a little spicy. But yeah, bad game, unfortunately.
We don't know the sales numbers yet for this, right?
No, it's too early for that, but it probably
I'm just curious.
Sucks.
I'm just curious to see.
So there you go. Now we know why the reviews were held up till the day of.
Yeah, 9 p.m. Oh yeah, that lets you know, right? Yeah, the game
TGA's been vindicated. There were a lot of bad things, but expanding the studio wasn't one of them.
Yeah. All right. The Drunken Guardian says I stopped after chapter 4 and delete. I don't blame you. You know, ironically enough, the game actually does pick up a little more after chapter 4, but they fucked up. I want to play that fucking Dead Space remake. Isn't that something?
Hey Carlos, you were the Game Awards for a little bit there.
No, it's because for some reason the stream just won't shut up.
Oh.
Like it'll start replaying it. Like, you know how you have your different scenes. So one of them is the Game Awards, and for some reason, it would just play the whatever the Game Awards stream was.
All right, man.
So
yeah, that's crazy. Anyway, last question of the night. Toon Medic, Michael Santiago. He was with us tonight, so shout out to him. You know, and thank you for all your service, man. You know, it's EMT in New York. He literally started during the pandemic, so you imagine that shit. You know,
he probably knows my sister then.
Yo, we got to get Mike on the show, man. You know.
Yeah, we did. I mean, he had us on his show.
We had both of us on the show. We got to get Mike on the show, man. So, Mike, I know you're listening to this right now, man. We'll get you on Throwdown in 2023, man, for sure. You're fucking awesome. All right. His question is, if you had to guess which game slated for 2023 will not come out next year, all of them, nothing's coming out.
They're all going to get delayed. And
yep.
Well, that's, you know, we've been seeing this, and I know Tony's been seeing this on Twitter. Everyone's like, man, 2023 is going to be fucking crazy.
Where have we seen this before?
Exactly. It's like
keep pushing the goalposts. That's the problem. They keep changing the dates.
It's crazy how it happens every year.
Every year. Listen, like I said, I don't trust release dates anymore, man. I don't trust them. So everything's getting delayed, you know?
Trust trailers and release dates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
C. Iverson, go my nephew. That'll be nepotism if I get you on Throwdown just because you're my nephew, though, man. You know? Oh man.
Well, wouldn't we be considered? Wouldn't we be accused of nepotism just for the plain fact that my cousin is on the show?
Not really, because Adam's a game reviewer. You know.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah, you got to be in the industry in some capacity, you know, or have done podcasts or something, you know, because Mike's still doing his thing, you know, the Gamer University podcast, so he qualifies on that, you know. All right, man, good stuff, good show, good heated debates. We love it on Throwdown. You know, don't worry, people, we're all still friends. It's all good.
Yeah,
we're just very passionate people.
See that? That's the mark of a good relationship. To be able to yell at each other and debate, and then still go out for a drink after.
Yeah, remember the big debates with Chris and Brett over the Nintendo Switch? Those guys were fucking yelling at each other. You know what they would do afterwards? They go play Dark Souls afterwards.
Dark Souls or Demon Souls or Bloodborne.
Yeah, whatever it was. But we're passionate guys, man. This is what you get when you get a bunch of crazy Hispanics and an Irish guy. This is how it is.
and a spicy Indian guy.
Yeah, man.
And a spicy African.
Yeah.
And a spicy African.
Spicy. All right, man. Yeah. Oh, Mike's still in the chat. Let's go.
All right. Yo.
All right. So anyway, so we will be having our final 2 episodes of the year starting this week. Final episode of Throwdown will be episode 415. That's going to be our year in review show. So we're going to be talking about the biggest gaming news of the year. Obviously, you already know the Microsoft acquisition. That's going to be the biggest thing. And then list our favorite games of the year and also what we're anticipating in 2023. Who knows whatever. And then on Sunday, we're going to have the Throw On Your Questions AMA special. So we are encouraging you guys to ask us non-gaming questions about anything else. You know, pop culture, life, whatever. Ask us some good stuff. Those are always good shows. So, yeah, both are going to be episode 415. Throwdown on Thursday as usual, and Throw On Your Questions Sunday as usual. So stay tuned, man. Yeah, go ahead.
Also, let me also add that during one of the weeks that we will not be around, which I'm thinking will be next week.
No, not next week. After that.
The 19th to the 23rd, I would say.
Yeah.
We are going to be running the Throwdown Draws episodes. They're pretty hefty episodes, about 3 hours each, but they're all going to be premiering during that. We have 4 episodes premiering that week, and it's going to be probably every other day. So there you go.
Cool. Adam, anything to plug?
No, I mean, we still got a bunch of stuff over at the Coalition, the website. So check out all the content we have. A lot of reviews and stuff. And The Walking Dead, that's coming back in January. That's Fear the Walking Dead, and then we'll have Dead City, some other stuff. So I am Negan podcast. So if you're interested in listening to us talk about Walking Dead shit, check it out. Myself, Rich Bailey Jr., and Carlos. I think Carlos has come back at least for one of them. I think he's going to do the Dead City, right? Dead City.
I never got offered a 10-year contract for this, so
I
cannot commit.
Nerd.
Yeah, make sure you read Adam's review of Higher Life, man. Should be good.
Yeah, that should be good.
We'll see. We'll talk about it.
It's gonna make the news. I know for a fact when we hear all this shit about Grand Theft Auto and mainstream.
No, I was talking about I Am Negan.
No, he just said the High on Life. That's what I'm saying. It's like this is gonna be all over. This is definitely gonna be all over. People gonna bitch and all this stuff. I'm like, it's supposed to be for kids. I don't know where they get that. They made that shit up just because it looks colorful and stuff. This is
good stuff.
I mean, it's probably going to be properly rated, so.
It will be. It will be, but you know how people are. Grand Theft Auto's properly rated too.
People are already used to this sort of stuff because we've gotten some pretty controversial games. You know?
I wish.
I mean, I don't know if it's not the gaming community. The gaming community is like fine.
Yeah, you're right.
Everybody else.
You're right. These are
it's
for
the
kids.
It's the outside. It's the outside looking in. That's when
Yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that. Yeah,
they show drugs. There's drugs.
Crazy. All right, people. So make sure you follow Throwdown on Twitch and Twitter. Join the Discord where the conversations and the rumors are always popping. Throwdown is on every podcast app you could think of. That's Throwdown Show, 2 words. Throwdown Show. ThrowdownShow.com to listen to previous episodes. And if you've been watching us on YouTube and enjoyed the content, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified of when our premieres go live. Links to everything down below. Once again, I'm our host, Tony Polanco. And tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you next time.
Carlos Romero.
Peace out.
Adam Vale.
Have a good week, everybody.
And Brett Murdoch.
Deuces.
All right, people. Final episode's coming. Get ready. Later.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh.